Todd is an amazing elementary school principal in the Texas area. He told us his phenomenal story when we interviewed him. He was trying all the traditional ways to get parents involved in the school, and they were not coming to the school, so he decided, he and his team, to take the school to them. So they went to an apartment complex where many of the students, their parents lived, and they got the high school students involved, and they decided to put out barbecue grills and to start grilling hot dogs, and they gave it to the community. And one of the things he told his staff people is that, I want you to put on shorts, t-shirts, and flip-flops. We need to blend in. And so, as you can imagine, on a weekend, people are like, what's going on? What's the agenda? Are you trying to get me to read more to my kid? Are you trying to get me more involved to show up? And he says, no, we're just here to love on you and to let you know we care. And what he really did in that simple act is he began to build a bridge from where the school is to where they are. So, you know, there was a song years ago, Taking It to the Streets. I mean, he like took it to the streets, right? But I think the other interesting learning from that is many of his teachers who had heard about poverty, had read about poverty, but had never been exposed to poverty, all of a sudden they began to understand that when a child showed up in their classroom and perhaps that child was a little sleepy or their homework wasn't done, it's because when they went out into the community, they began to understand that here's a child who's living in a 2-bedroom apartment with 7 people, and they're probably sleeping on the floor, and it puts a different lens to understand that we have to be empathetic when we're talking about children. And I think what we so love about the story, and this was the big epiphany for us, is that relationships and collaborative brilliance is not about a hand out, it's about a hand up.
That's right, that's right. What Todd did was he was very creative. When the people didn't come to the typical things, he said, how can we reach them? How can we go beyond the norm? So often we in schools say, oh, you know, we have these parent-teacher conferences and nobody shows up. These parents don't care. So instead he said, these parents do care. I know they care. So how can we reach them? How can we connect with them? He listened loudly, just like Sandy did. And then he got his staff there, and it opened their eyes, not to let kids get away with not doing work, but help them see that the work maybe had to be done differently. Maybe there wasn't a place to do homework. So how do they get more time? How do they get the kids more practice that they need? And they became very creative. And I think the last point I want to make about this is that staffs often blame the community if the kids are ornery or if there's some problem at the school. And they have to stop blaming other people and saying, how can we be part of and facilitate the solution, rather than saying, giving up, you know, because, well, look at what we got. Todd does a wonderful job of really helping his staff look differently and really understand the community and get involved and connect with them.
Yeah, I think when people read Releasing Leadership Brilliance and they read Todd's story, they're going to understand that if he could do it, I can do it.
That's exactly right. Because it wasn't big things. It was just little things. But it was thinking outside the box in ways to connect to the community. And you need more than just the staff. You've got to reach out to the parents and to the businesses, which he did. You've got to connect to the whole community. And then when you've got a neighborhood that is a tough neighborhood, you have other people who are there to support them. What we really want people to take away from this whole piece of relationships and collaborative brilliance is that a little becomes a lot over a long period of time. Oh, that's good.
It doesn't take much, but what can you do, and how do you step back and say, are we going to complain about the problem, or are we going to create a solution that is sustainable long term?